Well, motorists traveling on the N3 have been advised to drive carefully on the freeway. 2 accidents have been reported along the route, disrupting the flow of traffic. Low traffic volumes have been reported today, however. But now let's cross over to our reporter, Manqoba Mchunu, who is at the Hoek toll plaza. Manqoba, won't you just give us an update on how things are looking at the plaza?
Well, certainly, Arabile, not quite a busy day today on the N3 as we had expected. And of course, traffic officials also surprised that there are not as many travelers today that are heading towards the south, going towards the coast. Of course, they're telling us that at this point, around about 700 cars have been passing here per hour at the Hoek toll plaza. And of course, before that, about 2 hours earlier, that number stood at about 500. And we know, of course, Arabile, at this time that you obviously expect to find more people going down the coast. If I think back to previous years, you'll find that during this time, you'll find the numbers peaking at about 1,000 up until around about 2,000 per hour of vehicles that pass through this toll gate. But what officials are telling us is that it seems as if this time around there's not too many people that are going there. But they did say that, however, it was quite a busy weekend that we come from. They're saying that yesterday, around about 2 o'clock, the traffic levels were about 2,400 heading towards KZN. So this really shows that many people might have used the weekend, the long weekend, to travel and to get to their destinations during the weekend. And so that's the reason why we're possibly seeing these lower numbers here today on the N3 toll plaza. But of course, you had mentioned in your intro, Arabile, that there have been accidents that have been reported. And I think the latest one that was reported about an hour ago being at Warden towards the Free State. That's where you'll find an accident. And of course, motorists being advised to drive carefully around this accident to ensure that they also drive with caution when it comes to areas like Warden, where these accidents have actually occurred. The other one was reported earlier this morning at around about 6:30 this morning at the Van Duenen's Pass towards KZN. So that one has since been cleared at the moment. But of course, traffic officials and the N3 toll concession pleading with motorists to drive carefully and to ensure that they do get enough rest. They do also stop and make stops to ensure that they get much needed breather from the route in order to ensure that they drive safely. So as things stand at this moment, we're being told that things are running smoothly so far on the Gauteng side of the freeway.
Yeah, Manqoba, I think it's an interesting one there because, as you note, of course, the Hoek toll plaza is, of course, just outside of Heidelberg. It does separate Gauteng and Mpumalanga, so does detail that Gauteng commuters headed down towards, whether it be Mpumalanga or KZN for that matter, have certainly perhaps gone through already. And not many of them still left out in Gauteng. But what does that sort of say with regards to warning signs that have been sent out early on from traffic officials, warning consumers and people to perhaps get on with their traffic and do the traveling a whole lot earlier on?
Well, certainly that's the advice that's always given to motorists, Arabile, that they need to plan their trips ahead. They need to travel early to avoid the traffic backlogs that could happen as a result of accidents. So it's pretty much advisable for people to plan their trips before they even engage on them and to make sure that they know exactly after how long they should rest, where they would stop and so forth to avoid further delays and so forth. But Arabile, just on that, speaking about how the roads are, I just want to show you on this side, just so that you can see really what we are talking about when you tell you that it's pretty empty today. It's not as busy as we had expected it to be here on the N3. And of course, what we can say as well is that we've seen police here out on the streets. They are also doing their bit to try and ensure that road users are safe on the roads. There are quite a number of operations that are taking place here this afternoon. We've passed several of them, but of course, we also saw some hitchhikers, Arabile, along the way who are also making use of the freeways to try and get some transport to their various holiday destinations. And of course, traffic officials have always been warning that this is not perhaps the most safest of ways to do this, saying that, they should try to do it safely if they are going to be doing it. But of course, it's a concern because you know that 37% of the people that died during last year's festive season were those people who were pedestrians.
Yeah. Manqoba, really appreciate your work out there, but please do keep safe, and we'll continue to see, and perhaps there is a last-minute rush or so, a last-minute flurry, and hopefully we'll get your reporting on that. Thank you so much for that report as well there, our reporter Manqoba Mchunu at the N3 De Hoek Toll Plaza, of course, just outside of Heidelberg in Hoek.